Welcome to this week's Fireside Chat with Jesse. I am joined today by Christy Riegert, Christy Stolly Riggs. Sorry, it's hard for me not to call you Christy Stoliker from Riegert Coaching. Christy, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, Jesse.
No, absolutely, Christy. So if you don't mind, just take a couple minutes and just kind of tell us your background and what you're up to today.
Sure. So I have just started this year with Riegert Coaching. I opened my own business after being in the equipment finance industry for 20 plus years, banking industry for about 25. And I also felt pretty passionate after some pretty life-changing events personally to get my life coach certification and my yoga teacher certification. So I spent a lot of time outside the industry doing things of that nature, but am back and working within the equipment finance industry to help companies execute their software strategies, their technology strategies, doing a lot of project work with some of the larger banks and loving it, going well.
That's good. So it's going from a bank to a consulting now. Yeah. The yoga and life coach, I get that stuff. I mean, I would not be a good yoga client because I am not flexible whatsoever. So let's not even attempt
to do yoga.
That's what every flexible person says. So if you don't mind, tell me about going from a bank environment to being your own kind of independent business owner.
Sure. The transition is a little bit scary, right? But exciting all the less, right? So I've been very fortunate. It's been very good to me. I had quite a bit of industry contacts. And so, it's been really great to be on my own. I can, pretty much be my own boss, but still partner and serve as a consultant and an advisor in a way that, I can leverage my experience, my education, and I feel very comfortable in this industry. So it was almost like riding a bike, getting back into the day-to-day. But it's under my own rules, right? So it's been really nice. It's been really nice to kind of set my own pace.
And own rules can be both a blessing and a curse. As I've been working, I guess, remote for the last 10 plus years, and as much as you sit there and yep, I got this, all of a sudden it's like squirrel. Then you just kind of get distracted and go somewhere else. So,
and the nice part about my prior situation was the bank that I was with was pretty lenient with their technology teams to be able to work from anywhere. And so working from home and having to, find that discipline and that rhythm has not been hard for me because that was something that I was already accustomed to.
Right.
In today's world, people have had to try and, scramble to get to that discipline. And that's really hard sometimes. So, so I've had the benefit of being in that comfort zone as well, just being disciplined to be able to work from home each and every day.
Yeah. That's good. So
the one thing I didn't plan on was a husband and a son to be home with me, right? Before it was on my own, I can do my own thing. But then when you add more people to the mix in the house, that becomes a little bit more challenging.
I mean, I used to be on a plane 2 or 3 times a month, and it's like, oh, I'm going away on business, and then you come back home, and now it's like I do all the cooking here, and Brooke's just she comes home from her clinic, and she's just like, well, what's for dinner? And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, it's not every night. I need to set realistic expectations here.
Yeah, we order out quite a bit.
So I think we met probably back in 2006 at like an Ops and Tech conference.
Yeah.
I've had the privilege of working with you on a couple projects, both in when I was at OSG and with LTI. And you definitely have a very unique skill set where those projects have gone, even when they seem like they're kind of getting off task, your personality kind of comes in and it's like, okay, we need to get this back on task. So, from a consulting perspective, because you are a third party, you don't really, while you represent that particular industry, you are. So, what is that like, Christy, when you're not really the decision maker, but you are the influencer?
Sure, sure. Well, so first, the angle that or the viewpoint that I can come in from is one of not having to work day to day in the business, but I
Okay.
can have work on the business. And so it gives me a unique perspective. Um, I like to think of myself as flexible to be able to work with executive level plus people who are, in the trenches. And so that skill set helps me to kind of understand where everybody's coming from. And sometimes you just, when you're in the day to day and you're in it, you just sometimes don't see it, right? And so I think I've got a pretty good skill set to be able to point, improvement areas out, areas that just don't make sense, areas that I can come in and say, well, why are we doing it this way, right? And a lot of times it's the same old answer of, well, we've always done it that way, right?
Yeah, right.
The world is changing, and with digital transformation projects and those types of things, it's sometimes it's really hard to get out of your own way and see where you want to take things from a strategic perspective, rather than just be tactical. And so, I can provide that perspective. And that's kind of my passion, right? Is to be able to help companies set that roadmap and then be able to execute on it. So that's one of the things that I like about where I'm at in my professional career right now, right?
No,
Is that
yeah.
I'm not tied to it, to the day to day.
No, that absolutely makes sense. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if it's your own project, you're going to have your own bias on it and everything else, where it's like, well, it's always been done that way. And maybe it was because it was someone that, either yourself or someone close to you, that, what are you really going to say to them?
Sure, sure. Yeah,
But when they hire you as a consultant, they're like, okay, well, obviously you've been through this project before, you've been through that project before. Maybe they'll sit there and they'll take
yeah,
an unbiased listen to it.
yeah, yeah. Well, and I think the other thing too, right, is I mean, especially with software implementations, things go awry. No project is perfect, right? And that tug of war between sometimes the client and sometimes the software provider is pretty difficult, right? And just having to collaborate in a way that both companies work together well. So I like to be the person who can bring those two parties together and say, how does this work better if we made this tweak or we made that tweak? But I think one of the biggest things that I bring to the table is I'm kind of that voice of, you need to stay the course. If you give up, right, then you've completely lost and you're looking to start over. And so you have to stay the course. So you've got to find ways to be able to do that. And that doesn't always look the same for each and every company, for each and every project. I mean, it's a different problem to solve every single day. So you got to get creative.
And that's a good point. So I've been a service provider to the equipment finance industry for, kind of dating myself here, kidding, since 2004.
The gray hair
So it's
teacher.
almost, well, I mean, that's because I work with you on projects. I'm not just kidding. But no, but to your point there, I mean, that's where, we've had issues in the past in both of my previous lives. And even in the present role that I'd recently took, if there's not willing to be that give and take by each party, then people are just going to keep asking for stuff, and then scope creep, and then it's just going to fail.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you got to know when to cut it off.
right, or when to stand. And that was a thing I really appreciate, the refreshingness of working with you on some things, because you're just like reasonable, but you also dig in when you need to dig in, and
I
that's
can
what you
be
like.
tough. I can be a tough cookie. I have high expectations. You can say it.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You need that.
That's how you get stuff done.
You're exactly correct. You're
You know?
exactly correct. So I'm just trying to think. So consulting, do you see yourself, what would it take you to go back into a full-time opportunity? You don't have to answer that question.
I'm having such a good time right now that I'm not sure that I can even think about what it would take, to be honest with you. I'm kind of digging where I'm at right now, and want to see where it takes me.
No, well, and I see that. I mean, we've been friends on Facebook for a little while. I see, over the last 6 months, I've seen a motorcycle, which I was not a fan of you getting, but hey, you live your own life. And then recently a boat.
Yeah.
So
first of all, you were a motorcycle owner before I was.
That's true. All right. You know what? Whatever.
Yes, I drive. I do ride a motorcycle. I drive a Harley, and we recently, my husband and I, purchased a boat, which is something that we just like to have fun on the weekends. It's nothing huge, nothing miraculous, but it just keeps us going on the weekends and having fun, right? So one thing that you already know about me, but a lot of people don't, is I like to work hard, but I also like to play hard. And so, having toys is fun.
Yeah. No, trust me, I can relate. I can relate. That's for sure.
I even bought a raft to pull behind the boat, Jesse.
Yeah. Well, that'll be something that you and your husband can be on, and I can be driving the boat this time.
So that he doesn't try and kill us both. Yes, I get it.
So, a little fun fact: we both have these Death Wish coffee mugs, and I believe Death Wish is in your neck of the woods. I'm from upstate New York originally, and obviously that's where you're located.
So I'm located in Saratoga County, in upstate New York. It's about halfway between Albany and Saratoga. 3 hours to New York City, 3 hours to Boston, 3 hours to Montreal, 3 hours to Watkins Glen.
There you go.
Yeah, and the Finger Lakes. And yeah, I went to school and had quite a bit of acquaintance with some of the guys that either own or manage the Death Wish Coffee company, and it's been kind of a cult following.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're right in my backyard, and
not that this was a plug for them or anything.
No, it wasn't. But they're a great company.
It's good stuff.
Company, good coffee. Give you the boost you need, definitely.
Yeah, that is for sure.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll just kind of close this out. Just, of all the different consultants that we have to choose from in equipment finance, or just I guess even from a life coaching perspective.
Yeah.
Why Christy?
Why Christy? So the first thing I would say is my 20 years of experience has been both in the business side of the industry and the technology side of the industry, which gives me quite a bit of perspective on what clients, vendors, what companies need from an efficiency perspective. And there's so much going on in this industry that companies are, they're kind of at a crossroads, right? Some of them have already made that leap into kind of, reimagining their processes and their technology platforms. But there's so much more activity going on there. And I have probably 12 or so software technology conversions and implementations behind me. I've pretty much run into every problem you could ever have. So I've got quite a bit of experience when it comes to that. Life coaching, I've gone through quite a bit personally in my life and got, quite a bit of experience there. And I just like to be able to help people. And really, the life coaching piece is more about taking action and being able to transform yourself into what you see as the next step in your path, whether it be in your career or your personal life or with a relationship or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And from the yoga perspective, there's nothing like a great workout, but there's also a lifestyle that comes with it. And that is, the practice of meditation and being able to breathe. So when I get on my motorcycle and I have some sketchy situations, I can work my way through it, and I can, deal with just about anything that life throws at me. So
that's fair, and while that makes sense, I'm still not doing yoga. Sorry.
Come on now, you'd be fine. You'd be fine. Now I have a question for you.
Yes.
Because you did mention that we are Facebook friends. Yep. And I have seen quite a few of your prior videos.
Uh-oh.
So what I want to know, and I want for Brooke to send me a message if you're lying, is what are you wearing underneath your sport coat and your
well, you realize this is recorded, right?
Yes, I totally do. Okay, but there was a post on Facebook that showed you last week.
There's jeans, and I'll show you my pathetic yoga esque that I can't do. So I have my fuzzy slippers on.
Nice.
Because it gets cold out here in Arizona. And then I wore these special socks just for you.
It wouldn't be a conversation with Jesse if I wasn't laughing all the time.
I guess I should have thrown a belt on, so my bad.
About you keep me laughing, no matter what the top.
Well, thanks again, Christy, for taking the time for joining me today here. If you want to just tell them your website, tell people your website real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's very simply, it's Riegert Coaching, RIEGERT coaching.com. You can find me on LinkedIn under Christy Riegert, and you can find me on Facebook as well under A Mindful Life for Yoga and under Riegert Coaching. So I appreciate the time, Jesse. It's been good to see you.
No, likewise, Christy. I'll be talking to you soon. Have a good one.
Talk to you soon.
Take care. All right.